Hey Saskatoon sport fans, welcome back to the Huskies Unleashed Podcast, sponsored by Innovation Federal Credit Union, your favorite place for all the Husky news. I'm Darnell.
I'm Elliot.
And you guessed it, we're back here in a brand new studio, new look podcast here for everyone. We're also switching some things up. So first semester, bit longer episodes. This semester, shorter episodes, more condensed. And we're just going to give you the highlights here from the season as we head into semester 2. Elliot, what are you kind of looking forward to as we fix the podcast here?
I think, keeping it to the highlights is a good idea for sure. I'm looking forward to that. There's, obviously a lot to go over still. We got some pretty awesome teams going right now. And especially as we come down to crunch time, I think it'll be really exciting. We got 4 or 5 weeks left until playoffs start for a lot of our teams. So I think, it's a great way to highlight that, especially as we get towards the postseason.
Yeah, it's not long at all. And yeah, that's the kind of the idea behind it, is give you the hits and let's not waste any time. Let's get into the Husky happenings.
All right, why don't we start with women's basketball, who's kind of just been on a tear lately. They've got 8 straight wins now after beating MRU twice. Average margin of victory by 41 points, which is pretty incredible. So they're not just winning, they're crushing other teams. They're now to the highest ranked team in Canada West in the U Sports top 10. They're ranked 5 overall in the country. And according to the RPI rankings, which takes into account win percentage, strength of opponent, all that stuff, they're actually number 2 ranked team in the country. So really, just one of the best teams in the nation right now. And I think big part of that is the play of all Canadian point guard Gabe Jurassic, 2nd in Canada West points per game, 4th in 3-point shooting percentage, and leading the country in assists. So just dishing out apples all the time. Yeah,
she's doing her thing, doing it all, and really leading those Huskies to a great record. They haven't lost since Calgary week 1. So last week, really big performances at the field house as track and field triumphed at the Sanderson Classic. We had 6 U Sports Auto Standards and 8 first place finishes. And next up, we're off to the Golden Bear Open. Starting tomorrow. So great first meet of the season for them. And for anybody who doesn't know what an auto standard is, it's they set a time or good enough to qualify for U Sports Nationals later in March. So a great start to the season for them. And last year I think they had 9 more auto standards at the Golden Bear Open, so I think we can expect another big performance this weekend. Definitely. And I know as part of the Husky program and how the training goes, they like to ramp up their athletes, and once they get those standards, so I think we're going to see some more this weekend. I agree.
Yeah, absolutely. Now kind of shifting back to some teams that are home this weekend. We got our men's and women's volleyball team. They opened 2025 with a complete sweep of Calgary, going 4-0 between the two teams. Especially some really dominant wins from the women's volleyball team. Wrong sport, getting ahead of myself. They beat them 3-1 Friday before sweeping them 3-0 on Saturday. So and as a result, they had 2 Canada West Players of the Week, Taryn Hanna and Isaiah Mamer, who claimed it for the 2nd time this season. So they're on a bit of a tear right now too. And coming down the stretch, they got some winnable games against some quality opponents that I think we can get really excited for.
Yeah, for sure. And this weekend up against McEwen.
Yeah, maybe not quite the quality opponent I was referring to, but
yeah, so should have a good opportunity to extend the win streak there, especially in front of the home crowd, get some juice flowing. Anything else we got to touch on here?
Yeah, I think just last thing is men's hockey.
Of course, how could we forget?
Yeah, they another team just killing it on the ice right now. They've won 5 straight since 2024. Second in the Canada West East Division and 8th in the country. So one of the best teams in the nation, led by some really talented scorers. Up there in the top producers in Canada West. We have Dawson Holt, who's second overall in points, and Chance Petruik, who's second in goals and coming off a 4-goal, 5-point weekend against Regina, which also gave him Canada West Player of the Week. And in between the pipes, probably the best tandem in the conference, maybe the country, with Roddy Ross and Jordan Coy, who are both leading in different statistics. So, lot to watch with that team for sure.
Oh yeah, I'm super excited, and yeah, like you said, Elliot, some big games coming up, and hey, who better to talk about it than Dawson Holt?
Yeah, we got that great interview coming up. He was what took us through the team this year. His sort of balance as a student athlete. So it was really great to talk to him.
All right, well, that's up next. That's the original 16 Behind the Glass interview. You don't want to miss it. Stay tuned, Husky fans, and we'll see you back in a bit. Husky fans, do we have some news for you? Innovation Federal Credit Union and the Huskies are teaming up to give away 2 $1,000 cash prizes.
Wait, 2 $1,000 cash prizes? Are they just handing out money now?
Actually, yeah. 2 lucky winners will score $1,000 each, and if that's not enough, they're also giving away 10 $50 Tim Hortons gift cards.
All right, so cash and coffee. Are you reading my mind?
Maybe. Here's how it works. Stop by the Innovation Federal Credit Union booth at Husky Hockey this Friday or Saturday, or Husky Volleyball on January 31st, or Husky Basketball on February 8th. Enter your name, and that's it. You're in.
Simple enough. And the winners get announced February 9th, right?
That's right. So whether you're there for the game, the prizes, or just the excuse, Elliot, to show off those lucky socks of yours, don't miss it.
Or your chance to finally pay off that $1,000 tab you racked up buying Husky merch.
Hey, I regret nothing. See you at the game, Husky fans.
Welcome back to the Huskies Unleashed Podcast. We are now joined by first-line winger on the Husky men's hockey team. He's second in scoring in the conference on a team that's second in the division, or 8th overall in U Sports. Dawson Holt, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Doing well.
Yeah, doing good. Super awesome to have you here, especially given your busy schedule. For those that don't know, Dawson, in addition to being on the men's hockey team, he's also in med school. So talk to us a bit about what that's like. I know you had a recent interview that you just did, but yeah, tell everyone how that's like.
Yeah, it's definitely been a change from playing hockey in my undergrad to now. Takes a little bit more time and kind of more scheduling on my behalf, but I'm super thankful for the coaches, coaching staff, and the team at the College of Medicine. They've made it, as easy as it can be to kind of manage both schedules. So yeah, I've been super fortunate in that way.
There was a story recently done on the USask News website on you. It mentioned, having to do tests and stuff on the road. What's that like?
It was interesting. I didn't quite know how it would go, but they were like, yeah, like we have this code, whatever, we'll give it to your coach and he can basically sit in on you writing your exam. So it was just me and my coach in the room there when I was writing my exam, which was interesting, but it worked out, which is good. So I could obviously play the games that weekend on the road. So
what's that like kind of in your sort of headspace? Like, is it, you're going from one game, you're doing a test, and then you got to get kind of back in the game mode?
Yeah, I found that it's been okay. It kind of helps me get my mind off like the stressors of hockey when I'm doing school and the stresses of school when I'm playing hockey. So I kind of think in that way it's helped to kind of balance just like the stresses of each and giving me like a little break from each one at different times. So that's been actually a little bit of a benefit, I think.
And you got connected through the mentorship program with, if you want to talk about your relationship you developed with your mentor, but you actually got a chance to visit the OR. Is that correct? How was that experience?
Yeah, it's super cool. So my mentor this year is Dr. Pete Spafford. I grew up with his son, actually, so I've known him for quite a few years, so it was kind of an easy transition in that way. But yeah, in the first semester, I was able to visit him and go into the OR and watch, which was obviously a different experience. I've never kind of had that before, but it was super cool to see like what he did and kind of the patient interactions and how that whole process kind of works. So,
do you think, like, is that kind of your goal? Like, are you hoping to be in the operating room, or where do you kind of see your like area of expertise being, or do you know yet?
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's hard to know at this point. I mean, I've only been in school for like 6 months, so I think I need a little bit more time to kind of explore what's actually out there and see kind of what my calling might be. I did like it in the OR. It was super interesting and kind of like making a definitive change on those patients kind of in that exact moment, which I found was super cool. But I mean, who knows? Who knows where the future takes me?
Go ahead.
Sorry, yeah. I imagine it's a pretty intense environment to be in.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It was wild. So yeah, we'll see what I decide to do.
How does that compare to hockey?
I mean, honestly, there's probably like more similarities than there are differences, just because it's like a team, like high intensity, high stress, high pressure type situation. So, I mean, that definitely kind of intertwines with sports in that kind of setting. So it's interesting. Yeah.
That was the exact question.
Yeah.
Getting all right at this.
Now, I think shifting gears a bit, we want to like lighten it up a bit and like have a fun interview and kind of get to know you a bit better. So got a couple of questions here.
Yeah.
First, like, what's one of the craziest like superstitions or rituals that you or your teammates have before the games, or maybe after the games, after a win?
I think before the games, like me, I'm like not super superstitious, which is a good phrase there. I don't know if I do this intentionally or if it was like a plan, but I always go like left side, right side when I'm putting my equipment on, which I don't actually think about that much. It's just kind of second nature. And then I think as like a team, after games, after wins, we have like our hats we give out to like player of the game, hardest worker type things. So nothing crazy, but those are just a couple more traditions than superstitions, I'd say.
Do you have like kind of like a game day routine, like from the time you wake up till puck drop, or?
I used to have more of one because my undergrad I was in Edwards School of Business, so we would I almost always had Fridays off school, so I would like have my routine. I was pretty set on that, like when I would eat my pregame, when I would shower, get ready. But since starting this year, it's kind of changed because I'll have classes on Fridays where I maybe won't like get a nap in, or I'll have an exam like right before the game and I'll have to go straight to the rink. So I've kind of adapted to just going with it and seeing what happens on the day. But I mean, I still have the same kind of structure. Like I'll eat my pregame around 2:00, go to the rink at like 4, which is fairly early. So I like to get warmed up, do a little dynamic there, and then get ready to go.
Amazing. Okay. I've got a lot here, so I think would be best. Let's see. Okay, if there was a movie made about your life, who's playing you, and what genre would you want it to be?
I think I would want Mark Wahlberg to play me, and I wanted it to be a comedy, I think.
Choice.
Yeah.
Sounds like it'd be a good one.
Let's do pretty well.
Yeah.
All right, kind of got one along those lines. So you play on, like I said, I think I mentioned in the intro, the first line, along with Chance Petruic and Josh Plar.
Yeah.
You guys have been one of the most productive, if not the most productive line this season in the conference. If you could come up with, either a current NHL line or 3 NHL players that to kind of model your line, who would it be?
I would be Pat Maroon, except right-handed. Pills would be McDavid. Chance would be Nathan McKinnon, but left-handed.
It's a lot of firepower.
Yeah. Yeah, Pat Maroon just along for the ride.
Yeah, he's got his names.
Exactly.
Kind of, going off that a little more serious is, just what it's like, playing with those guys and just on a line with so much skill, and why you've been able to have the success that you have had so far this season.
Yeah, and I think it kind of goes back to last season. For majority of the year, from what I can remember, we were playing together. So I think that's a huge factor in success this year, is just kind of having that chemistry and that connection on the ice kind of pre-existing, so we didn't have to come into a new line in a new situation this year. But obviously they're both extremely skilled, extremely intelligent hockey players. And I think that chemistry and that underlying intelligence and hockey IQ from our line kind of helps create chances and obviously leads to scoring goals.
And you guys are going into a big matchup next weekend.
Yeah.
Not necessarily this weekend. Obviously, every game's important.
Yeah.
But that big one probably circled on the days the 24th and 25th against the University of Alberta. Talk a bit about that rivalry there, what it's like, and kind of your expectations heading into there.
Yeah. We definitely know how important those games are. I mean, us and U of A are kind of 1-2 in the standings. We have some games at hand, so that weekend is going to be the big one. And I mean, in terms of our rivalry, I think it's been something that's been ingrained kind of in Husky hockey for as long as I can remember. I think maybe since the start of Husky hockey, who knows? I'd have to ask some people about that. But yeah, we definitely don't like them. And they don't like us, and we know it's going to be a battle out there, but they're huge games, and we're looking forward to it. Looking forward to trying to get some wins.
Is there a moment in your experience in the rivalry that kind of sticks out, whether it's, a game or a play, or you got into it with somebody else, or?
Well, I think one thing that's like kind of eats away at me was last year when lost them in overtime in third game. Like losing in overtime sucks, losing the playoff series sucks. But it makes it a little bit worse when it's to them, I think. So we're definitely looking for some redemption in that sense.
I can imagine so.
Yeah.
Looking forward to watching you guys get it.
Yeah.
And now in the second game of that weekend series is also the Huskies Fight Cancer night.
Yeah.
Kind of talk to us a little bit about that and your experience with that night. It's obviously in memory of Cody Smuck, who passed away. So yeah, what's kind of been your experience with that night and what it means to Husky hockey as well?
Yeah, I think it's a super important thing for us to recognize. I'm sure everyone in our dressing room, across campus, I'm sure majority of people have been affected by cancer, and I think recognizing those who have been affected and kind of honoring Cody Smuck for kind of his contributions as a Husky and the way he led as a Husky and kind of embodied that dog mentality, I think is a good way to put it. recognizing those people and him is super important for our team to do, and to kind of provide that coming together and that group support for those who are either fighting or are affected by cancer.
For sure. Yeah, it's always important, and also during the game, people can make donations as well. So it's a really good opportunity to raise support and awareness.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of jump back to some stuff with this season. Kind of what do you see as, some of the reasons the team's been so successful kind of as a whole this year?
Yeah.
Like we mentioned, you're second in the division, number 8 ranked in the country. So you guys obviously have a lot of talent, a lot of firepower on the team, but, kind of from your perspective and inside that locker room, what are some of the things you've seen this year?
Yeah, I think with any team that's having success, it starts with the relationships in the dressing room. And I think that's something that we're super fortunate to have. Everybody on our team likes each other. We all enjoy hanging out together, which I think helps translate on the ice. I also think that our depth is something that we've really been able to rely on. We trust all of our lines against any other line in our league, so that's something that's a huge benefit to our team and to our coaching staff, I'm sure, where we're not concerned if we have a D-zone face-off with one line out against their first line. Like, having that ability to play everyone in all the situations really gives us the flexibility and kind of a top-down ability to kind of match up against teams.
For sure, yeah. I can't imagine it's an easy thing for other teams to plan against you guys.
No.
And then I guess, kind of my last question for you is, what's your favorite play so far this season?
Favorite play?
Yeah, you got one?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I can remember any plays. Short-term memory loss.
You have one.
Yeah. No, I like, not a play by me personally, but our first goal of the year, I like Ben Kachuk. I think he scored the first one. He went backhand, forehand, shelf, which I give him a little shout out. It was a nice first one. So that's my play of the year.
All right. Very modest guy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, really appreciate you taking some time out, doing the interview with us. And we're looking forward to watching you this weekend against Manitoba, and then obviously next weekend against Alberta.
Yeah.
Can't wait to watch you guys in the playoffs as well. And so good luck the rest of the season.
Yeah. No, thanks for having me. I really appreciate you guys sitting me down here and having a little chat. It was fun.
Dawson.
Yeah, thanks.
Hey USAS students, on Friday, January 24th, Original 16 Huskie Athletes have partnered to give one lucky student $1,600 towards their tuition.
Here's how it works. Claim your complimentary student ticket to Friday's game at huskietickets.com, and when you scan your ticket at the gate, you'll automatically be entered to win.
3 lucky students will then be selected during the first intermission to compete for the grand prize.
And the competition will then take place during the second intermission. And Great Western Brewing will also be giving away free samples at the game. And after the final whistle sounds, keep the party going with free buses to Outlaws Country Rock Barn.